Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer. As always, we are coming to you for a Tuesday slate. It's Monday night as we are looking at some pretty early lines here on a 10-game slate on Tuesday. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. We've got a couple game videos and our player props for you. In this one, we've got a very fun matchup out west, hoping Sabonis plays in this Kings and Nuggets matchup. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have all of our great written content for you guys all season long, and our odds finder tool that you can use to make sure you're getting the best juice back on all these NBA bets you make this season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into this 10-game slate and then talk about our West Coast game, Nuggets and Kangs.
Yeah, some good ones to like here on the opening lines. Lakers plus 4.5 at the Magic, but still more money coming in on the Lakers somehow. I don't know. Josh says you wouldn't bet on them with your money, and that's
not against my Magic.
No, sir. Anyway, 76ers -4 at the Wizards. That should climb. Rockets are plus 14 at the Celtics, who got right on Christmas. Hawks plus 1 at the Pacers, who are on a back-to-back here. Clippers are on a back-to-back. They're plus 5.5 because of that in Toronto after needing overtime to beat the Pistons. We got hardware limitations. All right. Taking it from Suns. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Suns, they're plus 7 at the Grizz. Both teams trying to bounce back from Christmas Day losses. Spurs on a back-to-back are plus 6 at the Thunder. Knicks plus 5 at Mavs. Jalen Brunson's going to be questionable for that one. The other game we break down, Hornets are plus 5 at the Warriors. Hornets are going to be on a back-to-back. And then this game, the Nuggets -2.5 at the Kings. Pretty high total of 236. And I was all about an over still until I heard Domantas Sabonis is going to apparently try to play through a fractured thumb, which sounds damn near impossible for a basketball player, but not if you're the kind of player Domantas Sabonis is, because he does not shoot. He endlessly pivots and reverse pivots until he gets a layup somehow or makes an incredible pass. So he's been a key cog in the Kings offense for sure. And hasn't missed a game yet this season somehow. With him and Fox going, they have one of the most high-powered offenses, of course. Another team with crazy home road splits this season, scoring 9 more points per game at home, 123, with a faster pace, and playing worse defense at home, which is not usually the case. But yeah, 115 defensive rating at home versus 113 on the road. And they also have a weird reverse split here when it comes to rest advantage. They did not play on Christmas, so the Nuggets coming in maybe a little disadvantage, even though they just had their first 4-game homestand here. So they should be flying pretty high, having won all those games. But on a rest advantage, the Kings are 2-7 against the spread somehow, and 5-1 against the spread when they have a disadvantage. It's just kind of a young team thing sometimes that the rest isn't really what helps you as much as the reps. Make a slogan out of that or something. But, I mean, we're really here to talk about the Nuggets as a team turning the corner here. Just a little bit over a third into the season. It's been an absolute mud pile atop the Western Conference, and it's begging for someone to separate. And why not Denver? I mean, when you look at their roster, if everybody can actually get on the floor, I mean, we talked preseason, it's like, I didn't even realize Michael Porter Jr. might actually play at some point this season. Well, he's out there. He's throwing in buckets. And they're just so deep. It's like at least one NBA team fumbled a good role player onto their roster somehow by accident. Calvin Booth was just like, thank you, I'll take that, and have my GM of the Year award on the way out. And now Jokic, after playing with the freaking Washington Generals the last couple of years, is still playing like an MVP with a ton of really great players around him. So, I mean, I'm on the Nuggets for sure at just -2.5. Playing on the road, their defense is a lot worse. So that's why the over seems so juicy. They have the third worst defensive efficiency on the road. Kings are third worst at home. Both teams terrible guarding the three-point line in this situation. And both teams tend to go over in that situation. And Michael Porter Jr., who I mentioned, is a walking over because with him back, these last two, they're scoring 124 30 assists, 30 free throws, pace goes up. He will just fire in anyone's face and still shoot 50% from three. And he's a terrible defender. So it works out both ways when you're trying to get those overs instead of Bruce Brown and KCP getting those minutes. Now you got MPJ out there just scoring and not getting back. And just in this situation when they have at least 2 days of rest, I mean, their game totals 250 at Orlando, 256 at Detroit, 240 versus Phoenix. They won 123-96 against Amir Coffey's Clippers because it was one of those Clippers games. So that one went under. The other ones have all gone over. 240 at Milwaukee and 244 against the Hornets. So a 236 total, while high, is not that high for a Kings game in this situation. And it's not that high when you have the Joker playing with a veritable excellent cast around him, and that they've been, one of the best offenses you've seen while winning 8 of their last 9 games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This Denver team is sexy. They're fun for sure, and it's nice to see Joker back with a team full of like solid NBA players. Another year with Aaron Gordon, and man, he's making Aaron Gordon look so good, and Aaron Gordon's looking really good, and his confidence is soaring right now for sure. I believe he had 7 dunks and 3 posters on Christmas night against those Phoenix Suns. So yeah, just really fun team to watch right now with those two guys, and then Bruce Brown just flying around. KCP is such a good defender for them, playing extremely well on the wing, and really their main and only-ish defender on the wing. Bruce. Yeah, there's a reason that with DeMontis this season, we're talking about 116 offensive rating versus without him 110. That scares me off of a 236.5 total for sure. But the pace of these two teams as well has been pretty high. Denver plays super efficiently, but getting closer to 100 pace. We know what the Kings do at home as well, just playing it well above league average in the top 5 or so in terms of fastest pace of play there. And that's why their games have been averaging what they have for the last roughly I believe 5 or 6, last 5 games. We're talking about 126 defensive rating for those Kings when they're at home as well. And then you talk about for Denver, obviously that I'm sorry for Sac as well, allowing 118 points per game in that time frame because that super fast pace. So overall at home this season, 114.5 defensive rating, but also playing at that 118 that pace that's giving them allowing teams to score 118 points per game essentially in their building. They're just happen to be scoring about 123. So these games at home are getting to about 240, and you've got an offensive team here that there's nobody on the Kings that are going to have any chance of dealing with Jokic in this one. And so all the points in the paint that they're going to be getting, nobody's limiting those, even if DeMontis is in. So it's just a matter of if Sac is going to be as efficient of an offense if DeMontis Sabonis does not play. But I feel really good about the Nuggets offense continuing to click and getting theirs.
And if Sabonis doesn't play, we might see Alex Len, who gave his best shot to guard Joker last time these teams played. It was 11 minutes and have a seat. Damian Jones then had his best shot. Or we'll see Richaun Holmes back in the rotation. And while somebody I did worry about, I just looked up the Joker game log against Richaun Holmes. Nice 50-point game with 12 assists following 2 triple-doubles.
I remember that.
Good Lord. The Joker is just – his last 3 game logs are just insane. I don't think you can set his PRA high enough for this type of matchup. He did go 38, 18, and 7 when Sabonis was playing, and somehow that game went under because he was playing with no supporting cast. So, There's just no stopping the guy right now. You're going to have one of the most efficient teams in the league, offenses, that is, and Denver's not just been the same defensively on the road. Probably in a bit of a letdown spot after that overtime win against Phoenix and after winning 4 in a row at home. But they have won 4 in a row against these Kings as well. And I think one way or another, they're going to be the ones scoring. They're averaging about 117 in those games. I have also won 4 straight against these Kings. And while I don't necessarily trust the Kings to score 118, I guarantee the Nuggets are going to be around that mark again. So their team total definitely more interesting than the overall total, but I don't mind an over in general.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what I was getting at as well. Is I think Denver's offense just continues to click like that. And this is not the game where you sort of say, oh, maybe this is where there's some stagnation. Obviously, the threes would have to stop dropping for them, but it's not like they've been scoring that high of a percentage off of those threes. They score the 5th most points in the paint. And we know everything runs through there, and the way that Jokic is passing as well. Just everything's working for them. And this is a game where this is a good continuation for them on this road trip. Shouldn't be too much of a letdown in a situation that they should feel very comfortable. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us on a really fun Tuesday night slate. And until we see you next, happy betting.